Ghost Train by Neil Rathmell, read by Paul Comaish.
I used to laugh at old men who play with trains until I grew old myself. The only way for an old man to enjoy himself is to become a boy again, put adult responsibilities aside, and let time slip by so that each day lasts forever. In short, do nothing all day but play. And for a man of my generation, that means playing with trains. My wife would have laughed at me, but she's passed away and our children moved out long ago. I can do as I please now. I have a layout that a boy could only dream of. I built it in the attic on the same principles as a real railway, with sections of single and double track, 3 stations, a tunnel, 2 level crossings, 4 bridges, 2 signal boxes, 6 locomotives, rolling stock and sidings. It looks real. There are embankments, trees, people waiting on platforms, cars waiting at level crossings. To begin with, it was just a single loop of track laid on planks resting on trestles. It was the noise it made, as much as anything, that took me back to my childhood. The drone of the electric motor, the hollow reverberation of metal wheels on metal track, the smell of it. The first time I heard it, I was 9 again, lying on the front room carpet, playing with my first Hornby 00 train set. My grown-up children humoured me and gave me extra track and rolling stock for Christmas and birthdays. Being girls, they took no interest in it themselves, but if I was happy, so were they. Their husbands pretended an interest, but I could tell they thought the same as I once did about old men who play with trades. They stayed for 5 minutes, then went downstairs again. I preferred in any case to be on my own, as children do. Grown-ups get in the way. They inhibit a child's imagination. An old man's too. As the layout grew, with branch lines reaching out to fill the empty space, supported by more planks laid on more trestles, my imagination grew with it. My Hornby 00 was like Shakespeare's wooden O, the 2-hour traffic of my stage. My grandchildren shared my enthusiasm for a while. They used to come upstairs to watch the trains going round and ask if they could have a turn at the controls. I let them, of course, but not without a degree of anxiety, and sometimes, I must admit, a sigh of relief when I was left on my own again. Old men do not play as children do. Second childhood is not like the first. When I was 9, my trains occupied me for an hour or 2. Now, I play with them all day. I wish I could have kept adding to my layout, but in the end there was no room left. I used to dream up new stations, turning single tracks into double ones, wondering whether I should ask for a new goods train for Christmas or another footbridge. Not any more. The attic is full now. Sometimes, during the day, I feel tired. I never used to. Instead of keeping the trains moving all the time, I bring them one after another to a halt and let them stand immobile at a station or a level crossing or wherever they happen to be. A silence descends on the network then. I enjoy those silences. They make it seem as if time itself has stopped. Sometimes, in the stillness and the silence, I take a stroll from one end of the layout to the other and feel like God, who looked down on his creation at the end of each day and saw that it was good. If I still feel sleepy, I sit down and close my eyes. I have an armchair in a corner where I can sit. My daughter's husband's carried it up for me. I have no idea how long I sleep for. Afternoon naps have their own units of measurement, like the weights and measures that used to be printed on the backs of our school exercise books. 10 chains make a furlong, 4 pecks make a bushel, 40 winks make a nap. When I wake up, it feels as if I've been asleep for a long time, but it's never more than a few minutes. Soon everything is moving again. I stand at the controls, watching the trains go round and round, passing, repassing, never touching, and the sound they make, like the drone of the pipes with a ground bass coming from beneath the trestles, seems as if it will go on forever, like the music of the spheres. A few days ago, I woke from one of my naps to find 2 children in the room with me, 2 little girls. They were sitting on the floor with their backs to me, playing. I thought at first they were my grandchildren, until I realised that by now they must be grown up. I remember the day my daughters came to say goodbye to me. Both of them were crying, and it was hard to make out what they were saying. I just smiled and patted the backs of their hands. All this came back to me while I watched the children on the floor. I was just about to speak to them when I saw them stand up. They glanced round, as if to look at me. Then they were gone. I tried to be rational. I know they could not really be ghosts. I know there is no such thing. It is only my imagination. The fact is, I'm taking too many naps. I wake up half asleep with a picture of my grandchildren in my mind and think I can really see them. I have a stick to lean on when the trains are running so I can stand longer at the controls. Sometimes I deliberately set 2 engines on a collision course to test my mettle, switching the points at the last minute. I keep the network busy all day. If I get cramp, as sometimes happens, I leave 1 or 2 trains running on a continuously repeated circuit, while the others wait in the sidings, and I walk up and down to stretch my legs. Then, one afternoon, they came back. 2 little girls playing with the trains, standing at the controls with their backs to me. When I saw them, I reached for my stick. I heard myself shouting, "Leave that alone! It's mine! Leave it alone! Get out of my room! Get out!" I was waving my stick in the air, but I was waving it at nothing. I was alone, and I felt like a foolish old man. The trains must have been going round the track when I fell asleep. Who knows how long they'd been going round? If I die in my sleep one day, they will go round forever. I told myself that I should sit down for a while until I felt calm again. Later, when I tried to stand up, I found that I didn't have the strength. All I could do was sit in my armchair and watch the trains going round without me. Sometime later, who knows how long, I heard footsteps on the stairs and looked round. The door opened and a woman came in. She held the door open. "You see? What did I tell you?" I saw the 2 little girls then, hanging onto her arms, peeping in. "There was a noise," said one. "We heard it," said the other. "Well, there isn't any noise now," the woman said. "Is there?" The little girls came right in. They stopped near me. I heard the woman say, "I'm going downstairs again now. Are you coming, or do you want to stay here on your own?" I saw her turn to go, and at once the children ran after her. "Don't go without us. There's a ghost. We heard it." But all that was a long time ago. I never saw them again. No one visits me now. The trains run without me. All I do is sit here and listen to them going round and round and round.